I can remember growing up, I didn't really think about male and female roles much. I didn't think about it as a child. I grew up in a neighborhood where we had the majority around me were boys. If they wanted to do anything fun like hide and seek and those kind of things, they better include the girls because otherwise it was going to be a very limited team. So I never kind of gave it a second thought. I remember right before you go to junior high, they tell you if make a choice of what kinds of things you want to do. And I had decided I definitely wanted to play in band. Well, I'd pretty much made up my mind when I went in there that I was going to play a tuba. And the band teacher, who is female, told me that no, I couldn't play the tuba, that was a boy's instrument, and I was not going to do that. She told me pretty straightforward, you need to be in the clarinet section. But I just remember a lot of resistance from that, and so it made me kind of feel uncomfortable that I'd made a choice that someone wasn't very happy with because I was female. Well, not too long after I came to Columbia and started working at the university, I met my husband. And he and I hit it off really well, and we have a great relationship. But I tell you what, I wasn't too sure that children were for me. So we had to have a little discussion. And he was fine with that. We talked about it at length. He was fine with that aspect of it, but I can tell you a lot of other people were not. I met some resistance. I met women who thought I was selfish, who they just couldn't understand why I didn't have that desire to be a mother. And I had to work through a lot of that. As far as my relationship with God, I don't think that God worried about that decision that I made. I think people and culture made it look different to me. I didn't think that was a stipulation that he put on me. It was my own kind of journey through that. So once we started coming to Woodcrest and I saw people who were doing the things that they felt led to do by God and felt like they were cherished and valued for that, I found a whole new different set of opportunities. I kept talking to God, am I doing what you want me to be doing? And praying and making sure that I was, on the right track. And so I did a lot of different things around Woodcrest before I came into an actual leadership role. A couple years ago, our board president was getting ready to step down, and Pete again came and said, hey, would you consider being the first female board president for Woodcrest? I thought, I don't know that I can do that. But I thought, you know what? Times are different, and we've had some really wonderful women in leadership roles in the church that have been great for me to be able to follow in their footsteps. So I think that was one of the things that kind of made me think, okay, I could do this. And I won't say that the next time I came to church that I didn't look around and go, gosh, did I do the right thing? I mean, are there going to be people who aren't happy with having a female president of the board, and can I live up to that? And so it did kind of bother me in the beginning, but it's been great. I have learned and grown so much, and I just appreciate the opportunities that are here.
One of my latest and hardest frontiers has been in the work of the feminine side of who I am. I believed for so many years that it is my femininity that betrayed me. As a child of a dysfunctional home, I felt starved for attention, and unfortunately, around the age of 12 and 13, I found attention outside of my family by an adult who perpetrated sexual abuse on me, and a relationship that was very unhealthy by a man that was 20 years my senior. And that wounded me a great deal. It wasn't for another 25 years that I would even begin to do the hard work of digging through the pain and the shame and the embarrassment of having been a part of that and gone through that I was able to address what all I did feel about it and be able to invite God into that part of my life and ask for his help to heal it. I started coming to Woodcrest and started to get involved in some classes and exploring who I was to God and gaining value in myself. And then started asking the question of who God was to me and seeing that He was a warm, loving, caring, forgiving Father. And I needed that. And in that relationship, I could be safe. And I could begin to explore the parts of my soul that were wounded and deeply hurt, that I had not been able to do on my own, in my own strength. I needed a protector to go there with me, and I feel that God has. And it took me well into my late 30s to begin a recovery path that led me to understand that it wasn't being a woman or being a young girl that invited that to happen to me, that it was an evil perpetrator that had harmed me in his thinking, not who I was as a person. And because of what happened to me, I acted out in ways and behaviors that I'm not proud to say are a part of my past, and that further shamed me. But as I worked through classes here and grew in my faith and understood who God is and embraced Him as a loving Father, as a true Redeemer, I was able to forgive myself. I've been able to forgive my perpetrator, and I've been able to see that I was born as I was intended, as a female, and that it's okay to be feminine, and that being so doesn't invite danger and harm. And it's released something in me that people, my friends, would say only shows in the last few years, that I dare to be girl, that I've given up the sweatpants and baggy shirts and t-shirts and dared to look like I'm feminine on the outside, and that is by the work that's been done on the inside.